Hey everybody, Tekking101 here, and a little bit of an announcement before we get to the actual mini review, I guess I should say. But if you don't want to hear any of that, if you just want to get to the review itself, I'll put up a time code right here that you can click on and be whisked away to that. Okay, so, announcement. Many of you that have been fans of my reviews for a while might notice, okay, this is a little bit weird, Tekking. You know, you're doing a chapter review of your weekly series and you're not wearing the suit and tie. What's going on? All right, well, you might have noticed that I've been skipping a few of the chapters of My Hero Academia, right? This is not because I want to, and this is also not because, like, I have a problem with the series or anything like that. I do genuinely like this series. I wish that I would have gotten a lot more up to, like, my skits and stuff about, like, this point talking about it. I wish I would have had a lot more stuff going on, and really the whole issue is just, it's like I have more responsibilities in my life, you know? It's weird. It's like the older I get, there's more shit I'm responsible for. I don't get it. It's a mix with college and work and some other stuff I'm doing. I don't really talk about right now, just personal shit. A lot of other stuff going on right now, and I am graduating college in May. I'm done with classes in December. I have an internship I need to finish up in spring, and then I should be graduating in May. Basically what I'm getting across here is this is like a temporary thing, right? This is just like one of those pain-in-the-ass transitional periods in my life, but I really hate skipping chapter reviews. Like, if it's bothering you, it's fucking bothering me, and I understand a lot of you are understanding, and be like, it's okay, Tekking, we understand, you know, you're busy and whatever, but I really do not like skipping them. I don't like having, like, an incomplete catalog in my, you know, reviews. I'm actually going to try to go back and review a lot of the old Bleach chapters I didn't even do, because I like to have a full catalog, but I figured, alright, I can either give you guys nothing on the weeks that I'm really busy, or I could at least give you, like, a mini review. I could give you something. I could be in, like okay, you know, suit and tie, editing, that takes a lot of time out of my day, guys. It's really hectic, and with just the situation it is now, it's really hard to fit a good chunk of time in my day where I can work on a full-length review, you know? And even those that you might have noticed that with the My Hero Academia reviews, a lot of them have been slimmed down quite a bit. And I want to make one thing clear, like, if Bleach would have continued, if, like, Bleach was still going on, I don't know what the fuck I would be doing right now. Like, I seriously don't know. I don't know how I would have been managing to fit those Bleach reviews every week. I would have had to skip some. I would have had to skip at least 2 or 3 by this point, considering how the Bleach reviews, everything was, like, set up with that, like, you know, and I had a good rhythm going. And that ended, and I was kind of upset that it ended in August. I was hoping it would last to the end of the year, but now I'm looking back on it like, well, at least we didn't have to skip any of that, because can you believe that if I was, like, skipping Bleach chapters at, like, the climax of the arc, let's say it was going to end at the end of the year, like, it lasted an extra 6 months, and I was skipping every other chapter. I mean, that would be more infuriating than this, but at least this is a new series, so it gives me a little bit more leeway. But I just want to say that this isn't going to be a standard thing. It's quite simple. On the weeks that I'm really fucking busy and I don't have time, I don't think I'll have time to do the whole suit and tie full-length review, I'll just give you guys a mini review. Something like this. You know, it'll contain maybe a little bit of editing, but not too much. Basically just me, you know, going over the chapter, you know, giving you my basic thoughts or anything like that. And then the weeks that I have more free time, I'll do the suit stuff. And then this whole thing apparently should be over tentatively by December, because December I'm done with class. I still have, like, an internship to do, but that's not as, you know, the internship doesn't give me, like, all these assignments and everything the same with school does. Alright, well, I just wanted to let you guys know what the whole dealio was with this. I don't want to shit on you guys. I just want to be like, well, I can't give out a review this week, so I'm sorry, guys. I hate doing that. It bothers me just as much as it bothers you. So let's get into it now. Hey everybody, Tekking101 here, and welcome to my Chapter 114 review of My Hero Academia, titled The Aftermath of the Results. So, in this chapter, obviously, we find out who passed, or rather, who did not pass the provisional license exam from Class 1A. We don't really get a, you know, exact number on who failed from, like, Shiketsu or anything like that. But, out of, like, the 100 students that were part of this, I felt like there should have been a bigger chopping block. At least I felt like that, like out of the 100 kids that made it to the second phase, only like 50 were going to pass or something like that. I thought it was going to be more decisive. 89 students passed. Only 11 failed. So that wasn't as a big of a deal as I thought it would be. Now remember, we started this whole exam with like 1,500 people, and there's only like a 5% pass rate, which is, I think, if you actually crunch the numbers, that's about what we are at right now, about 5 to maybe 6% pass rate. I think it was more of just about like, okay, if you can make it to the second stage of the exam, if you can make it through that out of the 100 students, then you probably already have the potential to pass the whole thing. It's just like ability-wise, you're fine. We just have to judge you based on like your personality and how you act in like a disaster scenario. If you actually want to be a hero, these are beyond just your abilities. But ability-wise, everyone would have been capable of rescuing the people. They just have to have proper training and all this shit. And then, of course, you have the crazy stuff that happened with like Todoroki and Inasa, like that stuff that docks points. This is the kind of exam that gives you like a perfect exam, like it gives you a perfect score. Everybody gets a perfect score at the start, and then they just like deduct points as you go about it. So who are the two kids in Class 1A that failed? Well, obviously the first one's Todoroki. We had that moment in the last chapter where it was like, I guess I shouldn't say it was obvious. He was just kind of looking up at the board, and Inasa failed, and he's looking up at the board like, oh, I don't know if did he pass or not, but he's looking very somber, so I didn't know. Todoroki doesn't look like the kind of guy that would be jumping for joy that he passed, so I didn't really know. But no, he failed, as well as Bakugo. He was the second student that failed. And you know what? That's pretty funny because he's like the one that everyone expected to fail, at least in the rescue phase. Like, oh my god, Bakugo is responsible for saving other people's lives. This isn't going to end well. He has to be morally supportive and try to cheer people up and make them feel like they're not going to be threatened. This is impossible. This is an impossible task for him. But it was funny because we had that scene where he was like shouting at the people, like, just hurry up and help your own goddamn selves. And at first you'd think, oh my god, that's an instant fail. But the people, like, mistook it because they were, like, slightly injured. And they're like, whoa, this kid's so good. He immediately realized that we were only slightly injured and that we can help ourselves. It's just like, I don't know, man. But that was only the one scene maybe for comedic effect, but he did end up failing, and I would assume that is because of his demeanor in the second exam. He's not the kind of guy that's, morally supportive of other people and trying to get them. It's like, it's okay, we'll help your grandfather, we'll save him, you don't have anything to worry about. He's just like, fine, fuck it, we'll get your grandpa, maybe, I don't know, maybe he'll die, whatever. So anyway, those are the two students that passed, but that's not even really a big of an issue. It's one of those things where it's like, oh, they failed, but it's not like the end of the world, as we'll see. So the next scene we get Inasa coming up, and he does the thing. He slams his head against the ground, bowing in respect, and he apologizes to Todoroki, saying, it's my fault, I've been petty, forgive me, please. And Todoroki's response to this, I don't know if he understands what got him into this mess, and he's just kind of like swallowing his pride, but he's like, oh, no, I was just reaping what I sowed to begin with. You can stop. Once again, I still feel like this was mostly Inasa's problem here, but Todoroki might have realized, like, maybe considering the fact that people look up to me and that I am Endeavor's son, I should probably try to make a conscious effort to be nicer to people, even if I don't really care about them. I don't really want to be, but I have to be kind of careful what I say, because depends on what I say, I could make powerful enemies, is basically maybe what's going through his mind right now. Or he could be genuinely feeling sorry for daring to tell someone to leave him alone. Because, we never have shitty days in our lives. We never have moments where we're just like, God damn, dude, just leave me alone. Of course, this is a universe where people have superpowers and there are supervillains, so you should probably make a conscious effort to be nicer to the people around you. Anyway, he said to Inasa, you made me realize something too after the whole thing that happened, so whatever. I don't need to apologize, whatever, so that's the case. they seem to be on better terms now. Inasa still says he doesn't really care for Todoroki very much, but he says, like, we've moved on beyond the pettiness at least, and it's because of that they failed. So maybe that's a wake up slap in the face. They can understand now, like, all right, maybe we have to work on this a little bit better. So there's this funny scene before we move on with Mineta, who tries to take the high ground with Bakugo and Todoroki, and Ida just kind of like slides him away because Mineta's just like, it may seem that you two were at the top of the class, but you ended up failing. You know what I think you need to do is then Ida just grabs him and just, no, you will die. Just stop it. Just walk away. And so we get the moment with Mera, where he's up on the platform explaining everything in greater detail. And he hands out, like, everyone's grades, basically, everyone's report cards. Why did they lose points? In what aspect? The highest score I think we got was Momo's. No question there, really. That makes sense. She got a 94, so she got like an A-. Sero did pretty good. Sero got an 84. OG got a 61. As for Deku, he got a 71. He got like a C. And they say the most of the deductions that came from Deku was not because of him taking action, it was his indecisiveness before taking action. How he was just kind of standing around like his knees shaking, like, do I do this or do I do that? Indecisiveness, you really kind of have to like mitigate that when you're a hero and in a rescue scenario there. So that was the case there. Everyone else, though, did fairly well, I have to say. Either got I think Ojiro kind of got like a D, like a 61. That would be considered a D. You needed a 50 to pass, obviously. So already they're really more lenient than a standard exam, because getting a 50%, that's not even close to a passing grade, at least in the schools I've attended. But he also goes on to say, like, all right, those of you that have passed, look, you're basically, like, you're semi-pro heroes now. You have the ability to make decisions at the drop of a hat. When you're in the middle of public and shit happens, it'll be up to your judgment whether to go. Now, sometimes you might have to take, orders from pro heroes, like actual pro heroes, but for the most part, you'll be able to make these decisions for yourself. And with great power comes great, duty. Yeah, with great power comes great duty. I guess that's what we come across here. And just basically, don't fuck it up, essentially. And then he also goes on to say, and this is what really doesn't make the failures anymore. They doesn't make it like, oh no, they failed. He comes on and he says, look, after attending a special extra course, extra lessons in March, you'll be able to have like a separate test, and then you'll be able to maybe, you'll get your provisional license exam, basically. So after some remedial shit, you'll be able to try again and get your license if you do well in that extra course. And then, of course, Todoroki, Inasa, and Bakugo are all like, yeah, hell yeah, we're gonna do that, of course. And so that's what I mean when it says it's not really a big deal that they failed at the end of the day. And I like, from the public safety admissions point of view, they want to get as many extra heroes as possible. Like, that's the whole point. All Might is gone. They need as much as they can get. Strength in numbers, basically. So even the people that failed, I don't know if this applies to everybody that failed, like out of all the 1,500. I don't think it does. I think this only applies to like the 11 students that failed the second exam, because I think everyone else just left and went home. And it's just like I said, okay, you 100 students are all well and good. You can become pro heroes. It's just some of you might need some extra lessons and shit, but you all have the potential. So getting to the last scenes of the chapter here, we have Deku get his provisional license. He looks like a dork, although not much of a dork as I thought he was going to be, although I'm not one to really say anything about that, considering I got my hair cut here. It's going to take a while for me to get used to this shit. So, everyone's, says their separate way. Inasa says goodbye to Todoroki. And then Deku runs up to that Cousin It kid from Shiketsu, the guy that's covered in hair. And he breaks out typical Dekuism. He pulls out his notebook and he's like, hey, you Shiketsu guys, you gotta tell me how you did that thing to erase your presence. Remember when Deku was fighting against Kami, the Shiketsu girl with the lips and the bodysuit, and she was doing that thing where she's like, could erase her presence? And she said, like, oh, that's just something we learn at Shiketsu. Like, it's a ninja school for kids or whatever. And, Deku's like, I need to know some notes about this. And he turns and he's just like, that's going to be tough because we don't really learn any such training. We don't have anything like that at Shiketsu. We don't learn how to like erase our presence. That's nothing. And so Deku's like, but one of your students, one of your friends, that girl with the lips, she said, and he's like, oh yeah, Kami, right. Well, yeah, she said she's not feeling well, so we sent her to the station early on. But you know, she's always been a weird one, and actually for the last few days, she's been acting pretty odd. And so it brings to light, and I'm not the first person, like, there was other theories that she was going to be revealed to be this, and I didn't really take them that seriously. But last scene of the chapter, we see Kami walking away, and she's, like, far away from the exam, and, like, her skin once again begins to melt, do that thing that it did earlier, and it's revealed that it's actually Toga. It's the chick with the fangs from the Villain Association. And she was actually in contact with Tomura the entire time. They did something to Kami, the original girl from Shiketsu. I don't know what they did with her. Like, they kidnapped her, knocked her out, or whatever the fuck. Maybe they did something like they stole her quirk. I don't know. But Toga's quirk, and we find out at the end of the chapter, Toga's quirk is Metamorphosis, which allows her to transform into anyone whose blood that she's ingested, which makes her really more susceptible to certain diseases. But remember back in the exam when she scratched Deku, took his blood? Yeah. So she's just talking to Tomura on the phone, and we see him there at the end of the chapter. We also see Sako there, the guy that kind of looks like a magician with the top hat and the mask. I think his villain name is Mr. Compress, the guy that like captured Bakugo and Tokoyami and the little pills. We see him there too. We see Tomura there, all decked out with his hands, and she's like, "I got the blood of my darling little Izuku," and then that's the end of the chapter. So a few questions here I'm just interested in about. So what was Kami's original quirk? Because the Shiketsu guy is saying shit like, oh yeah, you know, Kami's been acting weird the past few days. And like, yeah, but if she was exhibiting a quirk where she could transform into other people, that should be kind of a call-up that, like, hey, that's not really Kami. I mean, Deku did not say anything to the Shiketsu guy, to Cousin It, about it. But he should have. He should have said, like, it's like, you know, that Shiketsu girl that can, like, transform into other people? And the guy would be like, what the fuck are you talking about? There's nobody that can do that. And so that's a little interesting. I'm interested on what's going on here and exactly how the swap over worked. Now, Toga has Deku's blood with the ability to transform into him now. I could see some problems with this arising. I could see her, like, you know, becoming Deku and, like, trying to assassinate All Might now. Because even though All Might is no longer a threat, I could see Tomura and his intense hatred of him, as well as, you know, All For One being locked up now. I could see him like, we're gonna kill fucking All Might. We're gonna do it. He's weak now. He can't do shit. We're gonna kill him. So I could see this totally going down. Toga transforming into Deku and then like, hey, All Might, how you doing? And then just like stabbing him right in the frickin' back. He's gonna die at some point, guys. I just want you to prepare you for that, okay? Like, it's been foreshadowed a shit ton of times. This shit's going down. But anyway, that's the end of the chapter. What did you guys think about this chapter 114 of My Hero Academia? What did you think about the people that passed the exam? What did you think about, like, the fact that you can just, like, retake it after the, you know, everyone can pass, basically, so there's really no fear of anybody failing, truly. And what do you think about the reveal at the end of Kami revealing to be Toga and her ability to transform into everyone that has, that she has blood? So that's a pretty dangerous quirk right there. I hope we get amped up with more villain shit coming up. Thanks everybody for watching. Like I said, this won't be a standard thing. This will only be temporary. So thanks for everybody. Signing out.